What's up, Gamer Squad? Today I have a little bit different of a video going up. It's a little bit more serious. This one's a little bit of an educational video. I just want to prove to everybody that you have been being lied to. Of course, the lie I'm referring to is the lie that the Earth is actually round. I used to be a round earther like everyone else, but then I did my own research and found out that the round Earth just doesn't exist like people say it does. So today I'm going to be going over all the facts. So something that will help make you guys believe me more is I actually have a tested IQ of 153, which is way above average. It makes me an actual genius. So you could believe what I say because I'm probably smarter than you, so you just might not be able to comprehend what I'm going to say. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of boring. I had to go through a bunch of measurements to get to the good part. So there are a lot of important measurements that we must take into account when looking at the Earth. First, the round Earth supposedly has a circumference of roughly 1,577,800,000 inches. Now you might be confused why I'm using inches instead of miles, but I will get to that in a little bit. The next measurement we need is the surface area of the Earth, which is supposedly 196 million miles, or 12,475,584,000,000 inches squared. And finally, the most important measurement that we need is the ratio of a human to the supposed round Earth. The ratio is actually 3.5 million, or 3,500,000 to 1. Or in a little bit simpler terms, the round Earth is supposedly 3,500,000 times bigger than the average human. So next is why I'm going to be going into the inches instead of like miles. It's because I have this big ball here. So this ball is a 65 centimeter yoga ball in diameter, this way. And I got this to show how big the Earth was if we were on here, and how big a human would be if this was the size of the Earth. So I got to show this ball, of course. It's already said 65 inches in diameter, which is roughly 25.59 inches. This makes the circumference of the ball 81.6814 inches after my calculations. The surface area of this ball I found to be 2,057.4 inches squared. Of course, now we have to find how big a human would be if they're shrunk down to fit on this ball. To find the size of a human, we must divide the surface area of 2,057.4 inches by 3.5 million. This is done because the ratio of a human to Earth is also 3.5 million. After this calculation is done, we get the number 0.00058782857 inches, or in a little bit easier terms, 15 micrometers. Now, for those who don't know the size of a micrometer, 15 micrometers is 1/10 the width of a piece of hair. You all have hair, I'm sure you could see what 1/10 of the width would be. Just pull one out real quick. This is super important because it lets us see how small we supposedly are on this round Earth. With these calculations though, most of the round Earth hoax can be debunked. Okay, the last set of measurements we need is actually about planes. We need to know quite a bit about commercial planes for this one. So I found that the average commercial plane flies at roughly 36,000 feet into the air, allowing us to see 223.15 miles away. After some not so fun calculations, I translated that this means we could see 0.00011333164% of the entire Earth while on a plane. So if we translate to the size of the yoga ball, we find out the number translates to 0.0233169 inches, or about 60 micrometers, which translates to about 4/10 the width of a hair. So these measurements are super important because it gives you, the common people who are probably not as smart as me, a good visual example on why this round Earth hoax is nonsense. If we were 1/10 the width of a hair right on this ball, we would 100% be able to see the curve. Here, let me demonstrate. So, yeah, I got a hair right here. I'm going to place it on the ball. So this is one hair. This is 150 micrometers. Now look at 1/10 of this little hair. That's us. If we were that small, we could still see the curve right here. We would still be able to see the curve in a little bit of a radius. Of course, the radius would be like tiny, but it still curves because it's a ball. You know? I know. Hopefully you do after this. If we were flying in a tiny little commercial airplane on this yoga ball, we would definitely be able to see the curve as well. The fact that we cannot see the real on this real round Earth is proof enough that the Earth is flat. This proves that we are not on a planet like the rest of the solar system would apply, but instead we are unique. We are on a flat plane instead. I know a lot of people like to say that the rest of the planets are round, so why would the Earth be flat? Well, my answer to that is the fact that all those planets are uninhabitable. Maybe at one point the Earth used to be round, like millions and millions and millions of years ago when it first came to be. But it has evolved, just like all living beings on this Earth, to be better suited for life. There's a reason those planets do not carry life, and that reason is because around the planet is simply not the perfect living conditions for life to live, breed, and thrive. Okay, so a big part of this is the famous ice wall. A lot of people look for the edge and they can't because we have the big wall of ice that we know is Antarctica blocking off the edge. That's really all to say is that's why we can't find it, is because it's impossible to get through all the ice. And now a big common thing that people won't seem to understand is how the sun works on a flat Earth. The sun, which is generally said to be orbited by the Earth and illuminates all the hemispheres, is actually not something that we orbit. Instead, think of it as like a big lamp. Yeah. So I actually have a lamp right here that I could use to demonstrate. Okay. So here's the lamp, which is the sun, and then here's the Earth. See, the Earth is supposed to rotate like this around the sun, which, as you can see, just doesn't work very well. Instead, this is how it works. So pretend like I don't have a flat ball, but pretend like this ball is flat. Like if I push it down, this is what happens. It lights up, and then the entire surface is actually illuminated all at once. Something a lot of people don't understand is that time zones and the seasons, you know, how we're supposedly have different seasons depending on where the Earth is in orbit. That's actually just not true at all. I'm not quite sure why, but the deep state likes to cover up the fact that all time zones happen at the same time, and we have the same amount of illumination, as well as some other countries that are supposedly have winter seasons when we're in summer. Now, if you don't know what the deep state is, it's basically like an underground government made up of a select few politicians, hackers, criminals, and celebrities who control the government from the shadows. So yeah, thanks for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube for my YouTube videos like this one that you're watching right now. If you have any questions about the flat Earth, make sure to put them in the comments. I will be answering every question in the comments. So yeah, that's about it.